Hey everybody, welcome back to Now Reading with Bud Games. We are reading Chapter 3 of Aren Chronicles, Prelude to Vortex of Souls, the stories of Amane, Toshiro, and Kyra. We are on page 44. It says, Chapter 3, Training the Suns. Amane continued running as fast as he could in this new armor, which wasn't fast at all. Running felt like slow jogging, but he kept moving forward despite it. The armor was getting heavier and heavier as he progressed forward slowly. Soon enough, he was just walking at a brisk pace, but he was still making it there no matter what. It had been half an hour since he left home. It was just walking now. He couldn't move any faster, and he couldn't figure out how to focus to the point to make the armor feel less heavy. This was more difficult than he thought it would be. The man was watching Amane closely when he saw him. Yes, this is the one I was waiting for. Just as she had predicted, a lone armor-clad warrior roaming the streets. The figure thought to himself and smirked. What am I supposed to do? Amane said to himself aloud while struggling to walk. What seems to be the problem, young man? An elderly man asked. I'm just trying to figure out how to focus my energy like I was instructed to. That way I'll be able to move faster. And clearly, I'm not moving that fast, he replied. This is him. His spiritual energy is high for his age. No chrono energy within him, though. Must not have awakened yet. The old man thought to himself. Ah, yes, spiritual energy. Here, let me grant you the knowledge you seek. The old man reached up and put his hand on his forehead. One of his eyes went white entirely before turning black and his irises red. He still remained in a trance-like state. What's this? The old man thought. Underworld particles in his energy? That's not possible. Unless he's of that clan. This is just getting better. The old man smirked and removed his hand. How do you feel? I feel very light. Almost like I could run for days without getting tired. While wearing this. What happened? Amane asked. I transferred some of my knowledge to you. He smiled normally. I must be off. Good luck on your quest. Amane. What? How did you know my name? And then I'm on a quest. She was very confused by the man. The old man had disappeared. That was weird. Amane continued to distract the Toshin's home in a quick manner. The hooded figure watched Amane start running. You're going to have very quick growth and be very strong, Amane. Even stronger than expected. The underworld coming here won't phase your body and mind as long as you keep your power. He disappeared entirely from sight. Amane ran as fast as he could, making much better time than he was before. He arrived roughly 15 minutes after this conversation with the old man. He knocked on the door several times. After the training with his father, Toshiro showered and changed clothes. During the time Amane was struggling with the armor, Toshiro sat down at the table with a sketchpad and began drawing. Drawing itself was a variation of his ancestor who are fighting against demons. The sword being colored and drawn as the one in the case. He heard a knock on the door and someone calling for his father. Toshin! Toshin! The voice said as they knocked on the door. Toshiro continued practicing his drawing skills and was looking out the window. What's Amane doing here? He got up from the table. 1 second, I'm coming. Take your time, Toshiro. Though you could have just said, come in. Amane shrugged with a slight chuckle. Toshiro opened the door. Good point. I could be smarter sometimes. What's going on? Why are you dressed like that? He asked, confused as he looked at his friend. Training and I need your dad, Amane replied quickly. Training with real swords? Toshiro asked in excitement. The real deal since dad's training me, he nodded and replied. That's awesome, Toshiro said, excited for Amane. Let me go get my father. I'll be here. Amane stated calmly. Toshiro went down the stairs to meet with his father. Again. Hey, father, where are you? In the cells, Toshin called back to him. Toshiro walked into the back of the cells and met with him. Finally. Amane's upstairs looking for you. He doesn't seem like he's here for any fun. Something seems off. Come on, let's go see what's going on, Toshin added. Moments later, Toshin came back up with Toshiro and stood before Amane. Amane, that armor looks good on you. Take good care of it. How's your training going? Toshin asked. It's going really well for me, sir. Thanks for asking. I'll do my best to take care of it. Amane felt slightly embarrassed, but refocused himself after shaking his head. What's wrong? Toshin asked with a stern look. The short story is they want to kill Dad for Junchiro's murder. They held secret meetings without telling any of you so they could target him. Dad also said something about a cave on the outskirts of town, Amane replied. Both of them were shocked and surprised at what they heard. The normally cold and calm Toshin was clearly panicked by the news. Toshiro was sweating and concerned, but he knew there was nothing he could do. Toshiro, grab that sword from my case and your jacket, Toshin commanded. Yes, sir. Toshiro grabbed the jacket and put it on, and then the sword as he came back. Being careful not to mess up the case, he offered the sword to his father. Here you are, father. Yeah. Slide it into the opening on your jacket. It's yours now and you might need it. He turned to face him more directly. Take care of it and it'll take care of you. What's up with our parents telling us that? Amane sighed. Yours too? Toshiro asked. For sure, right before I left, Amane replied. We just want you to be safe and take care of your equipment, Toshin added. Come now, let's move to the cave, where we'll meet your father and I'm guessing Sage. Yes, sir. He's supposed to meet us there for whatever he's planning or wanting to discuss, Amane said in acknowledgement and agreement. Let's go, kids. Toshin kept a stern look on his face, but was clearly bothered by the events going on. There was so much going on, and he didn't know how it was going to end for them. Toshin, Toshiro, and Amane made their way towards the cave, slowly, but surely. There was no stopping them. Toshin was a trained and well-experienced swordsman with a family trait that could solve problems extremely quickly, but it's very disturbing to see up close. As they walked, Amane looked around, keeping a lookout as they traveled to their destination. He was feeling some weird things as they walked, but wasn't sure what it was. He stayed quiet and kept an open mind for what could happen next. Toshin kept an eye on them both, and was also picking up on the same thing Amane was. Keep looking forward, Amane. Your feelings are right. We're being followed. Keep your hand on your sword and your mind open, both of you. Yes, sir, Amane and Toshiro replied in unison. The two of them walked side by side and kept their minds and eyes open. Toshin was well aware of all his surroundings, as it was second nature to him at this point in his life. They just kept moving forward and making progress. They were at the edge of town when four guys jumped out, finally, after following them for so long. You won't make it out of here, one of them yelled. We'll see about that, Toshin replied. The four of them surrounded Toshin and the boys. If you're old enough to have a sword, you're old enough to die by one, another one yelled as he went for Toshiro. Amane blocked the blade with his own drawn sword. He forced the man back with a push and stood in front of Toshiro. I got you, buddy. Thanks, he replied, stuttering and nervous. Toshiro, stand strong. Draw your sword and hold it like you were shown. Toshin sternly commanded him. This was a real-life situation. He wasn't going to let Toshiro be distracted or hurt. Yes, sir, he replied. Nice block, Amane, Toshin added. Not letting anyone get my best friend, Amane replied with his eyes narrowed on the enemies around them. I appreciate that, Toshin said. Toshiro drew his sword into his hand as he was told. Toshiro drew his sword into hand as he was told and got ready. Amane stood beside him while Toshin stood behind him. The four guys began attacking one after another. Toshin took two on his own and dispatched them quickly, removing their hands from their blades and their souls from their bodies. Amane was slightly slower as he used the sword to slash the attacker's leg and then his head off his neck. Toshiro was struggling without training as he was being humiliated by small cuts to his arms and hands. Toshin watched him instead of helping him for a minute. Straighten your posture, hold your sword up, block attacks, and counterattack. Following what his father said, Toshiro successfully blocked an attack and went for a counterattack. Unfortunately, it was unsuccessful as the attacker blocked and stepped back. Amane kicked the guy in the back and into Toshiro's blade. Toshiro pushed his sword further into the guy and pulled it back out. Thanks to Amane, Toshiro said. No problem. I just did what I could to help you, Amane replied with a smile on his face. I'm gonna have a lot of training to do, Toshiro. We'll handle it later though. Come on, the cave isn't far, Toshin added. Yes, sir, Toshiro replied depressingly. Don't worry, Toshi. I'll help you when you aren't busy. What are friends for, right? Amane said, nudging him lightly. I'd appreciate that, he replied while perking back up a little bit from his somber mood. Quickly, Toshin was trying to hurry them up before more enemies could come for them. Three of them gathered up the swords and brought them along with them. Amane and Toshiro were carrying two they picked up while Toshin was going to defend them. It didn't take long before they finally arrived at the cave entrance, and together they walked in. Fujimoto and Sage walked in shortly after. The three of them discussed what to do amongst themselves, while Amane and Toshiro practiced with their swords. Amane taught Toshiro the same basics he was taught, keeping up his practice like he should have been doing until all this happened, and teaching Toshiro what he knew helped to speed up his training as well. He spent time correcting his stance and helping him understand what was going on. Toshiro had battle experience before his actual training began, so he knew what to expect now. Amane was going to keep practicing as well, adding more training for himself and Toshiro, combat sparring to the point of exhaustion to force him to get better. Hey, Toshiro, you want to meet up here a few times a week and train together in peace? Amane asked. Sure, sounds like it'll actually help us. Well, I don't know how much more training you need, Amane. You handled yourself pretty well in my opinion, Toshiro responded and was impressed with his friend's skill already. I can do better, but I appreciate your sentiment, he smiled as his head started hurting slightly as he closed his eyes from it. Are you okay? Toshiro asked worriedly. Yeah, my head just started hurting. I'll be okay, Amane responded. The adults were talking about what to do as the boys trained more. It's settled then. We'll hold a meeting and get them to agree to move out of town, Sage said with conviction. Best idea there is, really, Fujimoto added. And it was Amane's. He takes after his mother, after all, Toshin said jokingly. Hey, no, you're right, Fujimoto laughed. I'll need your help to get them out of town. They'll try to kill me on sight. I don't want innocent civilians getting hurt. Agreed, Sage nodded. Also in agreement, Toshin added. We can't fight your war, Fujimoto. If we side with you and fight, it'll put us at odds with the rest of your clan and bring fire down upon our clans as well. Believe me, guys, I thought about that. I wouldn't have you fight my battles. I could take care of myself. I'll need your support to start a campaign outside of town. That's all I ask of you, Fujimoto stated. You have it, Sage replied. The real battle starts soon, Toshin added. Right, Fujimoto nodded in agreement. Boys, let's go. The five of them came out of the cave and began making their way back to town. The three of them together were basically unstoppable. With them having to watch their children, it was an added layer of difficulty. Fujimoto led them out with Toshin on one side and Sage on the other, with Amane in the back and Toshiro in the middle, being the least experienced. It was a quiet trip back to town and there was nothing happening anywhere. There wasn't even any foot traffic or anything nearby. No wind, no leaves. just silence. Something was about to happen. Something was wrong. They reached their destination in an eerie silence. The sky had darkened and the roads were poorly lit. This just screams ambush, Toshin stated quietly. It feels weird, Toshiro added with a confusion coming out of his words. Something is here, Amane said, confused just as Toshiro was. You picked it up too, Amane, Fujimoto asked. Yeah, something is waiting for us, and something is watching us. I had the same feeling earlier before running into an old man, Amane added. I felt this the night I was stabbed, Sage spoke up. It's like being stuck in a fog. Get ready, Toshin said sternly. Each placed a hand on their swords and prepared. Fujimoto pushed the door to the side and looked around. It was empty. Clear, he yelled out. This is really weird, Amane said to himself. Reveal yourself, whoever you are. Alright, that's where I'm going to stop for today. We've picked up Amane, Toshiro, Toshin, Fujimoto, and Sage have all gathered back together in the cave and have made their way back to town. Next time, we'll find out what everybody was feeling and what Amane called out. Thanks for watching, or thanks for listening to Now Reading Chapter 3 of Aren Chronicles, Prelude, Vortex of Souls. I'm Bud Gaines, the author of the book, and if you're interested in picking up this book, it's very cheap. It's 99 cents on Kindle. It's like $5.99 for a paperback and like $8.99 for a hardback or so. Maybe I got those numbers mixed up, but I know it's 99 cents as a Kindle book. So if you're interested, pick it up. Help support me a little bit. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for listening, guys, and I will catch you in the finale part of Chapter 3 in the next video.